What would you do? You have your granddaughter over, you're enjoying yourself in your swimming pool in the backyard, and all of a sudden, Mary Jo Pennington decides to go up on the diving board, and she yells out, "My God, I have broken my baby." What happened?
Well, I climbed to the top of the sliding board. We have a slide that goes down into the pool with great caution and care because I hadn't done that in over 4 years. And as I got to the top, Victoria said, "Majo, can I come up and slide down with you?" And I said, "Sure." And I didn't realize she would just scoot right up behind me, and she was just right behind me. And my old knees just gave way, and I fell flat really hard, and my body hit her, and she went flying backwards at a very high rate of speed, and it was 9 feet to the concrete. And I just screamed, "Oh God, I've broken my baby." And I kept screaming that and screaming it. And
Don, you were watching. First of all, what was your profession?
I'm an engineer.
All right, this is your granddaughter too. Right. What did you see with your eyes?
Well, I was in the pool, alongside the pool, just about opposite where the sliding board was. And I heard Majo scream. I wasn't looking at her at the time, but I heard her scream, "Oh God, I've broken my baby." And I looked up in time to watch Victoria fly backwards away from the sliding board. And she stretched out horizontally, little body stretched out horizontally, and I saw it rotate 180 degrees so her feet were pointing in the opposite direction.
While she's still horizontal
While
in
she's
the
still
air.
Horizontal.
How you're an engineer, how can you account for that?
What I was seeing was not making sense to my brain. And then I saw her almost float and not only go straight down to the concrete, but she moved over about 6 feet away from the sliding board and settled down on her little backside and her elbows in her hand. And I just couldn't believe what I expected to see her body flying in all kinds of parts.
So you obviously went to examine what was going on. Where were you still on top of the sliding board?
Yes, I couldn't get down at all. And I couldn't see her when she was behind me. And then suddenly, and she didn't scream. I was screaming, but she didn't scream. But suddenly I saw her settle in my view where I could see her. And I felt as though I had to keep my eyes on her. If I glanced away, she'd fall into a million pieces. I just had to keep eye contact with her. And I was still screaming, "I've broken my baby." But I just knew that if I stopped, I don't know why I thought I could hold her together just by looking at her. And then Grandpa came around to check her out.
What did you see?
Well, she was trying to get up. She says, "Grandpa, I'm okay, I'm all right." And she was physically trying to get up. But I made her lay still. And I said, "Please let me check you all over," because I did not know what I was going to find.
You're telling me she fell over, thrust like with a force, right, and fell 9 feet onto cement?
Right.
Yeah, so what was with her?
So I checked her all over. I checked her head and down to her neck and her spine and her arms and her legs. And they all worked, and there was no blood, and there was, she appeared perfectly normal. So at that point, I did let her get up, and then I noticed 2 little places on her body. She had a little scrape on her right elbow and a little red mark on her palm, and that's the only evidence of any injury that I could find.
Okay, you're an engineer, you're a logical man. How do you account for this? It's not making sense to my brain.
Well, it didn't make sense to mine, and I can't account for it now, except in light of what we learned later from talking to Victoria. But at that time, it just made no sense to me at all.
Now, Majo, when you heard your granddaughter talking to her mother on the telephone, you got your first inkling of what really was going on. What did you overhear?
She said, "Mommy, I'm not broken. Majo knocked me off the slide." And I heard God yell, "Save the children, catch Victoria." And 6 big angels came and caught me and zoom, took me right up to heaven.
Now, Don, Is there any other explanation for how she fell and the fact that she didn't break her body?
Not to me, there's not.
I can't think of anything.
No, we just thought it was just a great miracle of God's, protection that kept her from serious injury. But when we heard, that or talked to her mother over the phone that she had gone to heaven, we didn't know what to think at that point.
Speechless.
Okay, they had like a home video of Victoria when this happened and her reporting on what she saw. Let's go to that right now.
All right. Now show me what happened. Show me.
When the angel caught me, I said, boom.
Okay, now, that's kind of because she's 7 now.
Yeah.
I can see where you went from IV to a miracle.
Yeah.
You must have been one grateful grandmother.
I was. I couldn't stop thanking God for this wonderful blessing that He gave us, that He saved her. I just couldn't stop.
And she keeps going back to heaven. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Don't go away. I know you'll be back.
We'll be right back to It's Supernatural.